Hey peeps, Pinkolol16 here and another blooper of Starman3's to commentate over. We're up to Super Mario 64 Blooper 40 Part 7, Charge Attack! And, yeah, it's basically the mid-plot of the new reboot version, which is, remember, disregard everything from Part, 4 and before, lol. But, seriously, or Part 5 and before, whatever suits you. I'm thinking more so Part 4, considering that, the style pretty much changed entirely. It doesn't matter, either Part 5 or 4, the whole thing just changes. And you have to disregard everything that came beforehand, so yeah, keep that in mind. And when did you figure this out? Lol. Yeah, he somehow knows everything about him now, for some reason. Yes, in case you're unaware, his only appearance in Oreo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and the Darkster X, aside from saving the 2 stars, was when he fought his own doppelganger in an off-screen moment where Starman3's, supposed, decided to fight him. He's like, I'm going to come and help, and then his doppelganger comes and fights him, and they fight, and it's completely disregarded because he's just supposed to be some, like, character that's just literally tossed aside to fight his own doppelganger, and there was nothing else given to him. So he decided to do more with him here. Too bad, it's awful. Isn't it funny that there isn't any like or dislike bar on this video? I swear you're making that up because he literally just said that yes, I am this one. I love how you contradict this in a future video where his doppelganger's Starman3 is actually shown to have his original plan coming from Dimension X, where consequently all the doppelgangers exist. So, what the hell? Hospital, quote-unquote, which is just a room in the castle where, everything's changing all the time. Any questions, my soulless people who I'm talking to? Because that's literally what they'll be. Oh, this again. Whoa, camera. They're all found out to have survived. Also, why did he just type it as Oriem? Isn't it Oirem because that's the backwards Mario? What is Mario's name now? Myro. Maybe we can get these questions answered if you stop making these script lines repeat the same thing over and over. He still technically is. Doppelgangers now just have a different thing. Makeup. Also, yes, Tech-Max suddenly appeared. This is his first appearance. He suddenly appears for like a couple videos, and then he vanishes because I think Tech-Max hated him or something like that. I never actually knew very much about him because they refused to talk about him pretty much. And whenever you bring up somebody that Starman3 isn't fond of, chaos would ensue. Maybe he can tell you more details about Starman3 if you all shut up! Because Because the problem is that every single time you keep asking these questions, they're all in sequence. We don't get any answers until we get back to Starman3. Everyone is. Maybe stop padding it out. Everyone speaks at one time. Yeah, this is his color code, and this is his actual color code in comparison to some of the traces I've seen of him. Yeah, it's a really, really weird color code. This is one of the more unique ones I've seen. I mean, I know it's a lot of blues, but it's a unique way to make blues. Also, I don't think he ever appears for the remainder of Blooper 40, so it's hi, Mario Dillon, and bye. Because the problem with Mario Dillon's run is that he was literally relegated to Christmas specials only. Why? I have no idea. Probably because he was only active around Christmas? You probably guessed right. Because before the change of a couple of years ago, he was pretty much really inactive in White TR, in any group actually. And he wouldn't come on for a good period of time until things changed, and now apparently he can supposedly come on more often. But I haven't spoken to him in probably about a year. Thanks, Toad. You've just explained everyone's annoyance at the script lines that have constantly been repeating themselves. You should also note that all of these are One Mario recordings. None of them are masked, even though some of them are standing in completely similar locations. For example, isn't TechMax supposed to be here somewhere? Like maybe even his foot? That would actually show some consistency. It really shows the effort. I'll just put some random people who are my friends. Maybe I'll put them in somewhere, but I can't guarantee them a good script line. Oh wow, it's so serious because you keep asking questions. You know, the same question. You might as well be the same person, just in a different color code. Bipolar Toad. Derpy, more like bipolar. He hates you and then he suddenly likes you. Ingor Toad. All the questions will be answered, even though it was only one question that was repeated about 5 times. Prediction means you're predicting something in the future. Let me tell you my knowledge, more like, because this is his backstory, not his future. Yep, this is the truth. Dimension X is now where all the doppelgangers lie. Every single one of them. They weren't killed, they were sent to Dimension X. None of them can supposedly escape. But they are now trapped in a dimension forever to live there. He now doesn't want to call them doppelgangers, he wants to call them evil clones, but they're literally the exact same thing. Let's just move the PNG, maybe they won't notice. He's not actually dead, okay? He's just sitting in a dimension and he's completely trapped there. He wanted revenge, and he wants revenge, technically, because they were all, trapped in there. And somehow I installed a security camera, even though I have no idea that this actually happened. In reality, he just wants to show us that this is the backstory that happened, but How does his character know that? Oh my god, why am I even asking this question in this series? Because there is no way in any logical sense of the word that he would actually know what happened in Dimension X. You can't just install a security camera in a completely separate dimension. And for some reason that requires releasing him from his order. In reality, their makeup was changed. And this part, I ripped footage! You can see the compression because he just ripped the video from YouTube. Oh, I'm sorry, he didn't fight, the other guy. We're just gonna play a relay of sound effects with a white screen. He's not... Remembering the virtual brother thing is, once again, it's supposed to be creepy. In case you're unaware, because you skipped to this commentary instead of the other one, Mario and Starman3 decided to start calling each other around the time of 2012 virtual brothers for some reason that that I'm completely unaware of, and it's very creepy. Of course, he does this with several other titles with several other people in the near future. The doppelgangers were supposedly not killed, they were just sent to Dimension X. That was the supposed logic and law, basically. When they were all supposedly killed, they were sent to Dimension X. And in Dimension X, that's where the doppelgangers of the current group exist. And they take influence from the dimensional loop and dimensional cycle loop and create doppels of their own. But they can't escape Dimension X normally. Also, this is exposition that the actual Starman3 is telling us, not his character. Like, it's because there's no way in hell his character should know all of this. So basically, the next couple of parts of Blooper 40 are just going to be fighting montages between the characters and their supposed new doppelgangers that have come about, because now they're all going to reveal themselves. Why? I don't know. Maybe he just gave them an order to all reveal themselves, but I don't know why they suddenly reveal themselves now. Maybe it's too close to their plan of completion, but whatever. Yes, I put a spy camera in, even though that's completely illogical. It's just a somewhat explanation for this stuff. I'm just trying to say that all of this is true whilst giving a totally out of this world explanation. Because seriously, ask me this. When did he say anything about installing a spy camera in Dimension X? When did he even mention anything about Dimension X before now? Yeah, you're noticing the plot holes. The second line is a very good question, but I don't think you should be asking this. And by the way, he never had time to do that, so that would be completely useless anyway. And if he's supposed to be creating teams out of all of the doppelgangers and he was the only one that survived, then how would he create a team if he was literally the only one surviving? Which is why the teleporting logic works in the first place. It's the only way this thing even works. If all of them were dead and he was the only one who lived out of his own kind, then how would he create a team of only himself? We've seen his previous Blooper stopper douchebags. They're now supposedly minions and the doppelgangers of the other people, so the only logic that works is the teleporter. So if he said they all died, that's completely false because he wouldn't be able to create the team in the first place. And if he's saying they all died, then well, you're noticing more plot holes. Good for you. As if you haven't been already doing that. Didn't you give him a pack of 3 stars before? Funnily enough, he's not going to be using them. Great! I understand even though I'm not going to be doing anything! Let's just end the supposed meeting now before we ramble on. Actually, a good suggestion. Yes, I'm gonna make this meeting go on forever. And that's being a corpse in the cupboard. Until you're brought out for your next scene. And by that, I mean I'm going to go tiptoeing in my room again and do absolutely nothing. Or play with video games, because that's the only thing this guy literally does off screen. Wow, this had a point to being in the video. It's called Purple, have you heard of it? Do you see pink on him? No, I don't. You can't really hear anything when you're asleep. Hi! You've just come out of literally nowhere and you're just gonna only appear for a small bit. Also, yeah, he gets a color code. And he also made like a couple of green screen fights too. Because yes! We're starting to do green screen fights! I'm gonna turn this down because pausing is not going as easily as it did before and I need to talk over it. Oh, and also, yeah, his face value is really and totally non-existent, so prepare for it to get completely changed in like 5 scenes. Like, completely. It's worse than Mario's hair code, it's literally the face. I'll just go take a peek, even though I've literally done nothing. Oh wow, freezing the frame totally shows he's peeking. You saw the quality change, right? That's not an actual part of the video. Yep, and for some reason they're not revealing themselves. Well, ha ha ha. See what I mean about the minions? Well, many more of them are actually going to reveal themselves later on, and they're just gonna randomly roam for no reason. Wow, let's repeat the recording. That'll totally show them. Wait a minute, that's the bridge. Did they just slam into the door? They should be charging inside! That shot was on the bridge. They are literally seconds away from clashing into the door. Did they just run face first into the door and somehow just fall flat? Yay, let's defeat the YouTube Rangers! And then they smash into a door. Oh yeah, what happened to Luigi fan, Mario fan, Mario Dylan, Mario 54, and Techmax? They've completely vanished. They'll come again later. Because funnily enough, a few of them actually happen to be consistent in this series. But only for like Blooper 40. I can't do the dynamic shots in here. Yes, they know how to teleport. I already told you last time in part 6 that would be a thing. Oh yeah, Mario Game's a thing, and he doesn't appear for a good while.
Oh hell no.
Yeah, well yeah, he still makes the scenes.
The chase down one.
Well then, that was proven wrong. He's still making the scenes. No, he's not. Yes, he randomly appears from nowhere. And he wasn't even in the previous scene. He just randomly sits outside and waits for attack. Then why didn't he attack them when they were running towards the castle? And for some reason, Starman3 and Crimson have just vanished. They'll appear later on. Yeah! You notice that? Yeah, his own color code has just changed again. It could be an issue like with my own, which we'll come to later. I'm not taking Mario Game's cuddly made green screen fights, I'm just gonna ditch him now. All those outlines got to him apparently, even though they weren't, they were literally good somewhat. Remember, it's 2012. And he changed again! Remember that now it's Starman3's face and hair. He obviously didn't get the proper face and hair values for this guy. Great! And the others did literally nothing, even though you told them to fight the minions. Wow. Look how much self-inflation he's gonna give himself. Once we get to know their plans, oh, I'm pretty sure we already know their plans. They're trying to take over the world. Not stop the YouTube Rangers, because we've got to go to the most generic plot of all time. Mask fades, because that's not dated. Look at this, jeez. Okay, and now he's gonna go to a meanwhile transition. And now they're not in their little cave of they're somewhat near the castle now. No, they're in their own random base now. Due to puny heroic team, even though I should know their names by now. I don't want to say it, it's the curse word. What I mean is he doesn't want to say YouTube Rangers. No, they aren't getting stronger. You're just doing the exact same thing you did before, you weakling. Literally, he has not, even though he's revealed his color code, he's literally not changed one bit because he's still sending out ones even though the exact same thing's happening to them. They just keep dying. Apparently, they haven't... What has constituted them getting stronger if you're literally doing the exact same thing? Because nothing has shown a strength increase aside from the elemental stars. And the elemental stars weren't even used in that fight. So that's not even a reasonable explanation. More stupid fourth wall break thingies that he wanted to hide. The problem is that he keeps his characters in a sequential order. The thing is, if one character says something, he expects all of his characters to know the exact same thing. So, no matter who he brings in, everyone's gonna know the exact same things, and they're all gonna... So, no matter if they're the villain or the hero, they're supposedly going to know the exact same stuff. So apparently, by his logic, if Starman3 says his plan now, all the heroes will supposedly know his plan and try to stop him. Even though they're already trying to stop him in the first place. So, yeah. But that's a problem because he doesn't really have any idea of individual character knowledges or intelligence. Every character supposedly shares a hive mind mindset. And that's the problem with this series. And that's exactly why it's not a good series. Back to the part. Because he wasn't satisfied when he used it in the 8K Mario subspecial. Exactly! So why don't you just say your plan and, you know, even if the people who are watching the video aren't going to be able to directly communicate with the characters in the video, okay? They can shout it all they want, the characters in the video will not listen. Which is why when I ask these things, I don't exactly expect the characters to answer me. And as if that was totally needed. You know, it would have been fun to say it's not the right time to say what the plan is yet. It would have sounded silly, but it would have sounded less silly than there are viewers watching, I should not say it. We have YouTube Rangers to defeat, and I'm just gonna send out more ones. Get ready to hear Virtual Brother a lot. Why? Why is he supposed... Why are you commenting that he's scaring? Isn't that the point? I mean, isn't that the kind of point? If you want to make a villain, you're supposed to make them threatening. So, yeah. Why are you frightening yourself over your own character? Oh yes, this scene. No, you're just in a room of the castle where you're supposedly locked up in case anything happens. Blooper Land Hospital is literally just one of the castle rooms. Because remember that the rooms in the castle seem to be constantly changing since everyone seems to be, changing every video. You went up there. And apparently he just appears, even though, yeah, he has no purpose. The scene literally could be taken out and the whole video wouldn't change. But we've got to do this again. Because he wanted to somehow be different. He's a ghost. He doesn't need to be the right way up. Even though he's supposedly in rest and needs to rest, he's gonna listen to the Trollol song again, and he's gonna get hurt. again. And this, in relation to the Blooper Stopper plot, how much is this relevant? Exactly. He's just gonna insert an upside down troll face. Waste of my time. No. Wow, such enthusiasm. Oh, hi, you two! You haven't appeared for the entirety of this part, and now suddenly you do. Also, yes, this is the first appearance of Exambu. 10. Get ready to see a lot of weird, capitalization with his name, because a lot of changes happen. Exambu was a member in YTF for a long time. I knew him for a bit, and then after some of the YTF fiascos, he just left and I've never spoken to him again. Yeah, yeah, this is so relevant to the Blooper Stopper plot. Like that's something Zambu would say, more like something Starman3 would, and he's just plastering it on his characters. It's so funny seeing the Trollolol song again. It's about as funny as, Never Gonna Give You Up Now. Yeah, again, I'm gonna figure out how my elemental stars work by staring at a wall. Into the Fourth Dimension was a thing at this time. In Into the Fourth Dimension and the previous Oira Moiram movie, Mario had a friend who and I think he still has, but I don't know, still has a friend he refers to as Lily. Lily is the character you see here. SM3 obviously asked for the same picture he used for Into the Fourth Dimension, but Lily, as you can see, is clearly based off of a Sonic character. Lily was pretty much the only girl for a long time for that wasn't a Mario. And this scene is literally the only time she ever appears in Starman3's videos at all, ever. And it's a good thing because she got ruined. She doesn't really do much otherwise. She's in this chibi style to sort of fit in with the Marios as they are. That's not true, because Into the Fourth Dimension's a thing. The greatest machinist because I like to overinflate my own ego. More virtual brother. I should probably put a counter on this. Maybe. Nah, I'm not going to. Great! Even though telling her is literally going to do absolutely nothing because she just runs off because once again, Starman3 can't keep track of his own characters. How many have we got now that have completely vanished? I've completely lost count myself. Also, he likes to portray her as a very idiotic character as well. Not like he does this to everyone. It's complicated to explain. Why don't you just have a why don't you just say it's too complicated to explain. Maybe I shouldn't tell you. Or just leave it at it's a long story, because that's usually how the saying goes. Don't just constantly say rewind, stuff like that. Yeah, he likes having characters admit that he broke the fourth, or not him, or the character that's breaking the fourth wall is very obviously breaking the fourth. Yeah, as if that's not very conspicuous. Yeah, it's a long story. We have a war to fight, and even though this is very important, I was just staring at a wall. Yeah, yeah, such importance. And they do, for a very long period of time. And you never see her again. How much did she contribute? Literally nothing. You don't introduce a character if they're going to do literally nothing for the plot. But then again, this is Starman3 we're talking about. He doesn't make characters properly, and why should we expect him to? Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said at the beginning of the part that Starman3 is not a doppelganger, he's your evil clone. Oh wait, that's not a thing, because the doppelgangers still are doppelgangers, he just didn't want to call them evil clones. Far too generic. And for some reason, even though this contributes absolutely nothing, he's just gonna look at his old color code again. As if you haven't already been doing that for the past 10 minutes. Seriously, if you're gonna make fourth wall references, don't blatantly tell us that. That's the one thing you can do wrong with jokes. Tell your audience exactly what you're trying to say. That's not a hard effect, he literally just masked it. Wow, great, you've showed off that you can do mirror masking now properly. Great, can we move on? Lol, I love how it just switches back right at the last second because he completely forgot to know how masking works. I have bad things that I can't tell my audience because I want to depict myself as a perfect soul who doesn't do anything wrong. This is so important to the war, guys. It's so important that he should go back and look at himself, even though, you know, the doppelgangers are supposedly coming. Like one of the friends that I've completely given up on said. Yeah, real heroes like not you. He's been rambling to himself again. Maybe you should slap him in the head. Yeah, 3 elemental stars, which he's not used for the entirety of this part. Some gift. Oh, I'm sorry, he didn't give them to you. You stole them from him. You've been saying that since the beginning of this whole ordeal! Because I want you there with me, virtual bro. You've already said that in the beginning. Wow, contributing so much. Look, if it was just these two characters and they were trying to develop themselves for the rest of this, maybe I wouldn't have such a problem, but remember the fact that there are supposedly other characters in this who have been doing literally nothing the entire time. And remember that the entire cast got an overhaul after 4 parts, 5 parts. He never said where Crimson was. Is Crimson just supposed to be default downstairs? Yeah. This was an idea that supposedly surfaced in YTR at some point or one another. They're called the Color Team. 4 characters that 3 of them are based off of hot colors and the other one's just a blue. There's no green, there's no purple. There's just 4 of them. Why were they created? I don't know. But for some reason they apparently signed up to stop the blooper stoppers, and you gotta love this because they literally appear for like 2 seconds in one fight scene and then they vanish off the face of the earth. Could have been an interesting concept, but nah, we're gonna toss them just like every single other character we put out in this series. So they're not the usual, yellow, blue, red and green. They're actually red, orange, yellow and blue. Well, cyan, really. They could have been an interesting concept, but again, you're literally going to see these guys in one scene, one fight scene that Crimson makes, and they're completely gone forever. I actually have an idea involving these guys for a series I may make in the future. Because, again, they could have been an interesting concept, but their potential was wasted because we're talking about the guy that ditches characters after a video is completely done. Unless that character is or person is important enough to him to keep. Which is usually himself and maybe like 5 other people who he's talked to maybe in the past couple of weeks. Since he made that couple of scenes. You can definitely see since this video's end and this video's beginning that there was a measurable amount of time since he was talking to people from when he started to when he finished. Because in the beginning he was talking to people like Mario Dylan, Luigi Fan 54, TechMax, and then he suddenly, from the start of the video to the end of the video, only him, Mario, and Crimson remain, and the color team then starts here. Yeah, apparently there's blooper stoppers outside and they're just patiently waiting for the fight. Instead of barging in. And once again, face problems. Totally, and they're just gonna appear for like once. with some power that he randomly got from nowhere, he will apparently defeat them. And he's gonna purposely hide it. Which isn't necessarily a bad tactic, mind you, but remembering the previous instance where he said, "I'm not going to tell you my plan because viewers are watching," is, yeah, you kind of get the point already. Oh wow, quality change. That didn't change to a picture. Yay! A star made in Microsoft Paint! I was wrong, he was going to reveal it. So, it either came from his butt, it came from Dimension X for some reason, or he's literally had it the entire time and he never bothered to use it until now. Which one do you think's more likely?
Plot twist!
Totally plot twist, you know. Ha ha. I'll see you in Super Mario Randomness 4, Zambu Speaks Italian.
Stay tuned for part 8. See you later.